of us, Jeffrey Lee Jones came to Lighthouse in search of mentorship and guidance in life and business, along with the desire to do good in the world. During his time with us, he voluntarily shared a letter he'd written to his dad with his mentor Jay Singh, describing the pain he experienced in his younger years.
So I'm about to share a deeply personal letter that Jeffrey wrote to his dad while he was being mentored here. And I do so with a heavy heart. We have held back on this evidence for years, while our families at Lighthouse have been relentlessly attacked and lies have been spread about us online, on Reddit, in the Daily Mail, and now the BBC. And Jeffrey is unfortunately now the poster boy of this malicious myth documentary. And they're spreading a lie about us breaking up families, spreading a lie about us being some form of cult, coercively controlling. When the reality is Jeffrey came to us to build a better life. He was drinking, he'd broken up with his girlfriend, he wanted to get into a job. I helped him to do all those things. He started to get off drink. He was working in a job and he was really progressing. And over the course of time, we explored the roots of his drinking. He said it probably comes from my dad. My dad was drinking, my dad had a temper, blah, blah, blah. And then, one of the roots of his suicide attempt was his parents' breakup. It hit him hard, as it would anyone. My parents' breakup when I was 7 hit me hard. It's very, very common. And so he said it's never been spoken about. And he said, I want to have a conversation with my dad about it. We're not here just airing someone's dirty laundry. We do this with care, compassion, and ultimately I'm accountable to my Lord. I'm ultimately accountable to my Christ and my brothers and sisters in Christ as well. And many are out there suffering in silence who have tried to take their own lives or have had family breakup. There is something I want to say to Jeffrey. Jeffrey, in your last message, you said to me, what was real and good will not be forgotten. But in court the other day, you couldn't look me in the eye. You couldn't look me in the face. And it was sad to see you and your partner, Dawn Ingram, so full of hate and spreading these malicious lies and myths with everyone else. And you know what, Jeffrey? I pray for you. I pray for you a lot. And Paul prays for you, feels for you. He's worried about you. He spoke to me today how worried he is about you getting suicidal again over this, because that's where you've been. We're worried about you. Chris is worried about you. Please just get the help you need. Don't be filled with hate. Creating vendettas and enemies in life is awful. And I'm sorry that I have to share this now, but the truth has to come out. Thursday, 18th of February 2021, by Jeffrey Lee Jones. Hi Dad. Relatively, compared to where we've been in our relationship, we resonate better these days. I feel I can write to you and communicate with you. I appreciate that. Man to man, we communicate quite cryptically, but we both have similar respect for life and each other. I love you for bringing me up and giving me a wider view on the world that few fathers give their children. To this day, I enjoy reciting your stories in my imagination. Most parents are heroes in their kids' eyes, not in a slapdash empty use of the word. Real heroes, the creators of their lives and the governors of all they know. You and Mum were mine. I learned to be reflective through you. Your ideas sowed seeds in me spiritually. And I learned compassion through Mum, who sowed seeds in me emotionally where you had your difficulties expressing them. I've done a lot of work lately on why I struggle to apply it in life. These seeds were unwatered in much of my life, mostly my teenage years onward. Most of us carry heavy burdens. Few drop them. And those that do must feel absolute liberation. I have a sack full of them on my back, and I'll take off in life as I drop them. Some you and I ought to talk about it, or write about, but deal with either way. My suicidal episode as a teenager wasn't only confined to a night in my treehouse. It was incremental over time, killing myself by not giving a toss about life and drowning my unfounded confusion and frustration in alcohol and the rest, and hiding from you because I was embarrassed of my failure as a son. It didn't all stem from a high school love affair and heartbreak. It began with you and Mum, my two heroes who turned my world upside down when it turned out they're just human. It's mostly been brushed under the carpet since. What I'm looking for as I head into my 30s is an adult relationship with my parents on every level. It will require great honesty. Without that, nothing can be founded. I've challenged Mum in areas lately. For you and I, we talk of dreams and adventures, but there's been an elephant in the room amongst it all. I cannot commit, and I'm sure you feel that from me. What happened with you and Mum was traumatic, mostly because the image I knew of both my parents was smeared as truth came to the surface. The life you led outside of the family was a great betrayal in the eyes of a boy that still lives in me. It was certainly the foundation that made the betrayal in my own relationship at the time send me over the edge. I didn't recognise Mum during it, and it was destabilising. I'm bringing it up because it's never really been spoken of, and will almost certainly be remembered on our own deathbeds, if not. It's about healing the old wounds and living a full life before that happens. There'll be things unhealed in you too, and certainly you know Sabrina carries old wounds. I'm looking for recognition of it and honour in moving on. No man-to-man relationship can have integrity if they've not been through hardship together. We both understand that. If we can face up to it, overcome it and forgive, then we can sail on, like a ship on a patched up hull. It will certainly unshackle the boy in me and let him go, and maybe do the same for parts of an unfreed boy that remain in you too. My hair's thinning out now, so it's about time. I'm no longer deluded in thinking Mum was an angel in all this. She comes from a small world. There was a problematic blindsidedness in that, which can be strangling, but that can be forgiven in the end too. I'll be having a similar journey with her soon. There's likely a rabbit hole beyond this letter, but that's all good. I'd like to ask you to get back to me whenever some meaningful thoughts come to you, but I'd appreciate some initial thoughts you have. Dad, this has been a hard letter for me to write. It's a long overdue one. I've thought long and hard about it, and I'd like it to be the start of a series of letters where I can share more with you, primarily for my healing and hopefully for yours. I love you always, Dad. Jeff. I kept the story in for about 13 years until I began to tell it through great difficulty to drop the barriers. My mentors Jay and Paul helped me see how my greatest weaknesses are actually my greatest strengths if I use them right, which completely made me feel empowered to use my life experience like a sharp tool to cut through to the core of people. What I once hid, I'm now proud to use when it's called for. After reading that letter, I feel really sad. I feel heartbroken for my brother who was healing, and to see where he is now, you know, and how much he was flourishing. That's why he wanted to be here. That's why he wanted to invest in other people here. There was no coercion of him investing. He put himself forward. He could see the fruits of this work, you know. And my dad walked out when I was 7 years old. You know, I didn't see him again for 25 years. My mum was comatose in bed 1 minute and out to parties for next, and she couldn't raise us, you know. So I know what it's like to go through a parental breakup, how it rips your soul apart. And he was pouring his heart out to his dad, and that's why he was here. That's why people come to Lighthouse. And we never realize how much these things affect us in our upbringing. We think, oh, we've got some confidence issues or this, that, and the other. And we come to heal, and we can heal primarily in God and our faith and building a relationship with Jesus Christ. But, you know, Jeffrey was healing, but he had his girlfriend in his ear, his mum in his ear, his this, that, and the other. And he sold out and now is spreading lies about us. But that's the real reason why he was here. and why he wanted to help other young men through it as well. And it's just really sad it's come to this. And I pray for him, and I pray for anyone else out there struggling through parental breakup or family struggles or suicide attempts. And, you know, we're here to help. But if you are out there and you're living a life of quiet desperation, or you're struggling with things in your family, or whatever it is, you know, we're a healthy community. We're here to support. And please get in touch with the link at the end of this video, and may God bless you.
And that's a beautiful thing about Lighthouse. I think everybody is it's like a big supportive family, but because it's achieving your goal, which is basically to do something good for the world.